Yung guidance counselors, how many per student is one guidance counselor? They should hire one guidance counselor for 500 students. And I was thinking maybe along those lines in the future, the amendments that we can do here to reduce the cost.
Mr. President, I think 1:500 will be more costly.
I'm just saying that we would take a look at a proportion of some sort, rather than have it one per school.
We would happily accept that.
Yeah. Maybe get from the DepEd also information and data so that we can craft it properly. Halimbawa, what is the smallest public high school? How many students does the smallest public high school have in the country? And what is the average? What is the median? Because not one size fits all. Going back to K to 12, how many students do we have in public high school?
6,177,876.
What about senior high school, grade 11?
1.5 million, Mr. President.
How many are in the academic?
60% in the academic track and 40% in the tech-voc track.
What are the tracks?
You have academic, you have tech-voc, Mr. President.
You have arts,
sports,
and sports. A bigger percentage of those in sports, arts, and tech-voc and their sub-track, these are the people who will probably look for a job after finishing senior high school. In relation again to K to 12, nangako ang gobyerno to provide quality education so that the students when they graduate high school will be employable, that they will offer these 4 tracks and its sub-tracks to all the students in all senior high school. How many of our 8,000 public schools offer 4 tracks? What I'm saying is that because there's a competition here, that's the point I'm trying to drive at. Maraming hindi pa nagagawa ang gobyerno.
Yes, Mr.
Dadagdagan natin ang responsibilidad dito. That's the point. And so that we can focus in areas where you can have these trabaho centers if necessary. And that's the nature of my question so that we can make the proper amendments. Government promised our students, us here in Congress, when we pass the K to 12, that all these tracks will be offered to all the students so that when they graduate high school, they will be employable in 11th and in 12th grade. Where are we today? That's the point I'm trying to drive at. Okay. What are the sub-tracks in tech-voc?
Agri-fishery, home economics, ICT, industrial art, and TVL maritime. Under agri-fishery, agricultural crops production, animal healthcare, aquaculture, artificial insemination, fish capture, fishing gear repair and maintenance. For home economics, handicraft, food and beverage, bartending, attraction and theme parks, caregiving, dressmaking, cookery, tailoring. For information communication technology, you have animation, telecom, subscriber line installation, computer systems, computer programming.
Maganda pakinggan, di ba?
Opo, yes, okay. Mr. President.
Ilan dyan ang in-offer sa estudyante?
Mr. President, malayo po sa lahat ng listahan na to.
Because, that's the point, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President, the current system of DepEd is that they actually go through a process where they consult with the students what tracking should be offered.
And then the student asks for this track, and then the DepEd will tell them, we are not offering it.
Or sometimes they ask for a track which is quite far from the opportunities in the area, Mr. President.
So, even if we had this job center, but none of these tracks were offered, anong trabaho may bibigay sa mga bata? That's why I think we should first make sure that the DepEd has the resources, has the capability to provide these tracks to the students. Doon muna.
Not all the tracks need be offered to the students in all schools. Only the relevant ones. Finding the relevant ones is a process which we found is today, not complete with
the
DepEd.
DepEd is unable to do that, right?
Yes, because Mr. President, they don't have personnel or the functions to find out what tracks are relevant to them.
And your solution to that is to create these new positions, these Trabaho Center advocates, and who will train them?
The DepEd, Mr. President.
They don't even know how to do it.
Well, Mr. President, of course,
they don't even know how to do it, as you already mentioned to begin with.
Yes, Mr. President, one of the functions of the Trabaho Center advocate is to work with the DOLE, to work with the local government, to work with the chambers of commerce.
The DepEd secretary, the division superintendent, the district supervisor don't know any of this.
Now, Mr. President.
And they will hire 24,000 people that they will train with a salary grade of 10 to teach the other teachers and to provide guidance counseling in effect to the students. That's my big problem here. And in the course of doing it, we will spend possibly billions and billions of pesos. That is the point that I'm trying to drive at, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President.
That's why I will take the opportunity to see how the DepEd is implementing the K to 12.